Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I actually decided that I wanted to do this video. It is regarding, as you can see from the title, it is regarding my septoplasty plus turbinoplasty plus polyp removal surgery. There are not many of these on YouTube, and I was just wondering, when I was searching for it before my surgery, there were not many videos. So then I thought maybe it's best for me to do this video so that whoever that is in my position before can actually get some idea on what's going to happen if you are to go for a septoplasty or turbinoplasty or polyp removal or all of the above. So let's get to the video. So I guess starting off, I just want to say that I have always had sinus issues. For those that know me know that I always either sound very blocked or have a handkerchief or have a tissue. Sometimes I don't have a handkerchief or a tissue, but especially except for at night, but I have struggled a lot over the years in regards to my nose, and it has gotten really bad up to the point that I lost my sense of smell. So I've had maybe since young I've visited about 7 ear, nose and throat specialists, 7 ENT specialists, and all of them were always telling me to do the nasal spray or sinus rinse or some other form of thing except for surgery, because they said that surgery was not going to help me. But it got to the point that it was really bad last year, especially since now that I live in New Zealand and we have winter. And during winter, my nose gets really blocked because of the cold. I could not sleep at night. Like, I could not sleep. I used to wake up in the middle of the night. I used to be panting because I couldn't breathe. And then, sometimes I used to get panic attacks or anxiety attacks because of the lack of oxygen that I was getting. And I used to breathe a lot through my mouth, and that's not good because you get a lot of sore throat and you just keep getting sick and you have fever and all of that. And it doesn't help that I also have allergies when it comes to spring. So it's pollen and plants, all of that, dust, fiber, everything I'm allergic to. So I decided to get it checked with a doctor, and I've put my name on the wait list in the hospitals in New Zealand, which took about a year for my name to get called out. And then they did a consultation, they did a CT scan, and they saw that my septum was really deviated, and they saw that my turbinates were really swollen. So they said that I definitely qualify for the surgery. I could have lived my life with nasal sprays, but I just don't want to. Unfortunately, I have to, but I'll get to that to the later part of the video. So I've gotten the surgery done, and I guess a few things to know when I went for the surgery, which I didn't see many in how it is on YouTube, but on the day of surgery, my nose was still really painful, especially like this side of my face, just because of the mucus buildup, and my nose was really blocked. So my face was just swollen. And I remember at that point I was thinking, you know what, even the pain of the surgery is going to be lesser than the pain of actually going through with this. And I was completely right. After the surgery, I did not go through much pain. So I went for the surgery, it took about an hour and a half. And then I woke up. They monitored me till midnight. They wanted me to stay in the hospital, but I didn't want to. So they monitored me on midnight. Mine was a bit different, of a special case. So they had to check my heart rate because my heart rate was really low for some reason. So they got an ECG done, and they said that maybe it's just a stress, so they've let me gone home. And ever since it's fine. I have always suffered with low BP, so I'm not surprised with the heart rate as well. In terms of the surgery, they did it. I remember when I first woke up, I did not feel any pain. I just felt really like drowsy, but I did not feel pain. And I was thinking that, oh, if this was surgery, then this is great, because I wasn't feeling any pain. And then the nurse told me to go to the washroom, just walk to the washroom. When I was walking to the washroom, the blood was dripping from my nose. And that's when I started feeling a little bit of pain. But then I was looking down as well, so I guess that's one of the reasons why. In terms of what I brought to the surgery, I packed my bag. I brought socks, I brought clothes, I brought towel, I brought soap, I brought charger, I brought a book, God knows why. And yeah, I didn't need any of that because I was in the hospital for 12 hours and then I went back home. There was nothing much to do before the surgery. They just tell you to change in a gown. I was in the waiting room. When my name was called, they literally brought me. I walked into my own operation theater, which was the worst thing, just because I've never done a surgery in my life before, so that was really scary. But you know, it was fine. Like the nurses were really good. They put me on the table and they were talking to me about alcohol. I don't know why. I think they were just trying to distract my mind. And I remember telling one of the nurses that I really love her when the anesthetic was going into my IV drip line, and then I just knocked out. And then I woke up and the surgery was done. Anyway, back to the toilet side. So yeah, the nose, my nose was still bleeding. After that, I went back to my bed and to the hospital bed, and I couldn't sleep because I felt really hot. But I remember like just lying down, trying to rest. And after a couple of hours, they said that I could go back home. And I remember very vividly when I was walking to the car, I was kind of nauseous, but I was fine because I had all this cotton buds and stuff in my nose. So I was okay, I was all right, I would say. The worst part was that because I was discharged at midnight, I could not get any prescription. So they did not give me a painkiller. Neither they gave me any medications for me to tolerate the pain. So Clifton had to go to the pharmacy and actually get that early next morning. And while we were driving back home, I just felt like puking because I was so nauseous and I couldn't even walk properly. I think the painkillers were starting to wear off as well. So it was really bad. When I came back home, I remember seeing like how it was inside because I was really curious. And I feel like one thing that people never told me about when they were doing similar surgery as mine, although mine is a bit more significant because I had 3 procedures done in one go, was the amount of crusting that you go through. So day 1 wasn't much crusting, but I felt like this uncomfortable sensation in my nose all the time, and that I kept like nitpicking it, and I'm trying to understand like what's going on. And it was basically like if you have a scratch and your scratch is healing and you're scratching it off, then obviously it's going to leave a scar. That's exactly what was happening in my nose, but I didn't know that was happening. So I felt really uncomfortable, and I remember there are times that when I just woke up and I'm blowing my nose after the sinus rinse and stuff, it was like a lot of like hard, this is going to sound disgusting, but hard discharge that was coming out, where it got me a bit concerned as well. And because I didn't know what it was and I'm trying to figure out, I'm blowing my nose and I'm seeing how it is when you shouldn't blow your nose, it started getting a bit infected. But the sinus rinse really helps. I did not do it for 3 months. I did it for 2 months because I just couldn't take the pressure in my head when I do the sinus rinse. But the sinus rinse did help though at the end. And the crusting slowly started healing, and I started taking the Flexonase spray or any nasal spray, and everything was perfectly fine. However, one thing that I regret is I don't know whether it's because of, you know, me picking my nose, like me disturbing my nose all the time. I do not feel any difference on the right side of my nose. So the right side of my nose is the one that was really bad before, and that's where the polyp was, and they removed the polyp. The left side of my nose is completely clear at this point, but the right side of my nose is still completely blocked. One thing I guess that I want to say during this, that out of the lesson of me actually doing the surgery, is that it's never going to be 100% healing. Fast tracking 6 months later, I went for my second checkup again just to see how things are healing in the nose. Unfortunately, I was right. The right side is blocked because my deviated septum has gone back to its original position. And now I need to do the sinus rinse and all the nasal sprays in trying to understand if that's going to help me or no. Otherwise, I might be going for another surgery. So I guess one of the messages that I really, really want to put across out there is doing the surgery helps, especially when you are really, really fed up with the sinuses that you're going through. But a couple of things is, number one, for the first 2 weeks, do not go out, which I did. I did not go out. And they did not put the splints up in my nose because apparently they didn't need to. But I also think because of that, my deviated septum has gone back to its original position. The second thing is, it's regarding you'll feel so uncomfortable after the surgery. Bear in mind, you won't feel much pain. I had really, really low painkillers. I even stopped taking Panadols after like few days, which the doctor did tell me to do, that if I can tolerate the pain, best not to take it. And I stopped because the pain honestly was really less. But you know, there was a lot of aftermath of the surgery, and it wasn't the pain, it was just being uncomfortable. And I remember I used to think that I was smelling for some reason, and I was thinking that it's maybe because I was in bed for 2 weeks and that's why I was smelling. And I kept asking Clifton, like, am I smelling, am I smelling? Because I've showered like 3 times in a day and stuff, and I still feel like I was smelling. It was basically the dried blood that was in your nose, at the tip of your nose, that's gone into your mouth. You can feel it and you can taste it, or you think that you're smelling. So your smell does get a bit haywire for 4 or 5 days, but other than that, you know, it's okay. And you get to smell again, but the crusting was just the worst thing of the whole thing. So thank you so much for watching my video. I decided that maybe, you know, I hope this information helps you out a lot, and I'm always happy to answer any questions that you might have. I would say that overall my experience has been good. I just wish that my nose was 100% fixed, but in saying that, I've read up a lot articles on this, and a lot of ladies and a lot of guys are saying that this surgery will never be able to fix 100% for your nose, and this is just a lifelong thing. But definitely the pain has reduced. This side of my face is completely fine now, and I think overall I'm so lucky that I got the surgery done. I just wish that my deviated septum did not go back to where it was before. A piece of advice that I guess I would like to give is that when you do decide to go for the surgery, a lot of doctors might say that try the Flexin, try nasal sprays, and try topical medications as much as you can before you opt for surgery. And as much as that makes sense, I've done that for 8 years and it never worked. So then I thought it's best to actually just go and get it fixed. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy this video and find it helpful. Thank you.